Hello there, everyone. Just quick morning thoughts on this episode of Reflections and Reactions. I don't usually do more than one episode per week, but things have been a bit tense, so I thought I might as well. So, there was an issue that has been going on for a very long time of the public sector, striking and whatnot. I think so. That carried on regardless of what was offered by the Tory government before, because there was an agreement made with the Starmer's government, incoming government, about a pay rise and about a favorable, decisions that would be made. Um, and this is why all their strikes are gone now. And what we see is a 5.5% pay rise that's been offered to police, schools, NHS, and so on, which is going to cost the taxpayers now more than, I think so, £10 billion a year additionally. And so the result of it is what we can see now is that the police is going to be even more compliant to the Labour government. Um, they weren't as compliant to the Tory government when the Tory government was in power. So it's not something that we can say that, hey, well, it's a new government, so the police has to listen to them. Well, they weren't really listening to the Tory government. So, but now they're going to be more compliant. Now they're going to become more of a. It seems like their recent behavior has shown. This is why I was also against the stamping of the head and stuff like that in Manchester, because I wasn't prepared to back uh, police, as a collective, because I know that they are much more violent against the native population than they are against anyone, or and the people who love this country, right? So we're going to see more of their Stasi behavior, um, and the courts to be, act like that as well under this new socialist Britain that Starmer is bringing. I think so. This is very worrying. And yesterday, what happened is actually very worrying. The protests that happened. Um, I believe it was meant to be a peaceful protest, as far as I could tell. It wasn't anything to do with me or anyone. I don't really know who arranged it as well. But anyways, it doesn't matter who arranged it. It's like there were people there who were aggrieved and concerned about the recent events, and they went there to protest in London. But what we saw was very heavy-handed policing, and we saw police punching people. We saw police just taking random people from the street. We saw police taking random, nans like from the street. Like, what were they doing? Like, um, yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre and felt like provocation. It felt like trying to label everyone with the same brush. Obviously, there will be bad apples here and there who would look for an opportunity to act in unsavory way wherever possible. And this is what I've been trying to say. Like, rioting is not something that is going to win us our country back. What is going to win our country back is, this anger that we have, but um directing this anger, channeling this anger into a way that we can achieve our goals without destroying ourselves in the process. We don't really want to become barbarians in the process of um defeating barbarians or opposition. We can't just become our opposition. We have to be better in that process. So those are my thoughts about it. I think so people should stay away from um, any protests and stuff. I think so. Yesterday was enough for people to see the effects of two-tier policing that has been in UK for a very long time now, because they didn't do any of these policing this level of policing when 7th of October, the the protests following 7th of October happened, the pro Gaza or pro Palestine, or as I call them, anti British protest happened, right? There were people throwing, if you remember, in London this happened, people were throwing fireworks at the police, right? They still held back, they were still just behind their shields and stuff. They dare not police it that way. They were like, oh yeah, we were going to mark the people and we're going to pick them afterwards, not during. If you remember, that was their tactic. So what has changed? Why, when it comes to people waving the St. George's flag and the Union Jacks when they come out to protest for their plight, why does the police feel like they can act in the way that they can act? So I think so this was enough to show the two-tier policing, and and anything further is just going to inflame things more, and I think so it's just going to lose the point now. um it's not going to achieve us anything. It's just going to um enable them to put in harsher, probably harsher laws and stuff. I also feel like there is a harsher online social media law, that legislation or policy that might be coming soon as well. And the Labour government is is going to use these excuses to bring that in. So be prepared for that as well. And many other things. They're already labeling everything on EDL, which doesn't exist. And I think so they're actually trying to do something very unoriginal, very unoriginal commie stuff, to be honest. Making lists, with this call that you're seeing of EDL being named, when we all know EDL has been defunct for a very long time, and nobody's connected to it, especially within the movement. Like there's no connection to it. But I think so what they're trying to do is the same thing that they've done with BNP, and that might be for good reasons. So, but not really, because there were a lot of people who were a part of BNP who weren't like who weren't bad people or anything. They didn't know which way the leadership was going to take, and stuff like that. They didn't believe on all the policies, but they they now have to declare themselves as being part of it, or previously had been part of it. So they have adverse things against them when they travel or go for jobs and stuff like that. I think so with BNP or any other terrorist, no, they weren't terrorists, no, were they? Any other organizations, far right organizations or terrorist organizations, that you have to declare yourself. I think so that's what they're trying to do with EDL, so that they're trying to resurrect the specter of EDO for this reason, so they can prescribe them as such. And then anyone who has ever been a part of it before, having to declare that they had been a part of EDL. So what that does is, like, it puts all the people who were previously connected to EDL on a list, right? Which is, like I said, very unoriginal commie way of putting people on the list. Which is, I'm guessing this is what they're trying to do. This is all speculation anyways. You can see, like, the truth doesn't really matter to them. So let's not, I would urge people to show caution. Let's not give them the opportunity that they're looking for. Anyways, those were my quick thoughts. And I think so when this is over, we do need a proper vigil for those girls, to hold a vigil for those poor souls that lost their lives. It's a tragedy, and I think so we should not forget that. um you know I just can't imagine what the parents must be going through, and what the whole community must be going through. It is, you know but at the same time, I can understand the people's anger, because this will be multiplied in many other communities if we don't do something about it, or don't urge the governments and everyone else to protect us, to secure us. But right now, I think so it's just banging your head on a deaf wall, either side of the equation. So best to hold, remain cautious, advocate for peace and calm, and then use this anger, channel this anger to maybe work in ways where we can achieve what we want to achieve, without destroying the country in the process. Anyways, thank you for listening.